Hey, Tyler, you got us?
All right, there we go. Goodness, couldn't get volume. Sorry.
All right. Well,
All
we
right.
appreciate you jumping on here with us. I've got a couple of the Bristol media members on with us. They submitted their questions to me, and I'm just going to run through them real quick with you. First one, were you surprised to see the playoff shakeup that took place at Darlington with a few of the top-seeded drivers having issues and dropping to the bottom of the standings already in the first race?
Wasn't I wasn't necessarily surprised to see drivers have issues. It was just surprising to see the drivers that did. Drivers you don't expect to box themselves in like that at Darlington. So I figured, we were going to see guys that felt like the pressure was on, behind the cut line to maybe put themselves in a bind. Expected a couple drivers, in the playoffs to maybe hit the wall or have something happen and lose track position. But for it to be, the 48 and the 24 getting into each other and the 18 being out and, all the other stuff that was going on, the 19 having a loose wheel, the 4, like there was a huge opportunity for even a lot of the guys that recovered for good finishes to really have a struggle. So, but that's Darlington and that's Southern 500. And when you throw it in the playoffs like it is, the pressure's on everybody.
You posted an 18th place finish there. Is the idea kind of to just do what you got to do to keep yourself inside the top 12?
Well, these two races coming up, you can make the case for a lot of the places we go, but I really feel like Richmond, Darlington, and Bristol are you race them a lot of the same way. It's from lap 1 to lap 500, lap 400, or lap 367. You just have to keep up with the track. It's not necessarily a race where even if you have the best car, you can afford to fall to the back and expect to get back to the front. The field's tight. The margin for error is very small, and the mistakes really add up. So being aware of what's happening around us is a good thing. It can be motivating. It can get us fired up. It can kind of help guide us that extra couple percent to give or take. But when it comes to running these races, it's just about us, our car, and racing the racetrack. And if that means 5th place, we need to get 5th. If that means our car's only 15th place, let's get 15th. Let's not throw it away. Trying to do something crazy to make up for what we're missing. So the races where you have a lot of opportunity to just kind of take yourself out of the mix. And that's kind of what we did. I mean, that's what we did at Darlington. So we had that lesson. We took that lesson and we I guess we still gained 3 points technically, but for us to have the struggles we did, we were fortunate to have, some of our competition have struggles as well.
Last year you finished 4th in the night race. How much confidence does that give you coming in here this year?
It certainly helps. But that was a race where we had good speed, but because of the situation we were in, racing around playoff guys that certainly I don't feel like I got any breaks given or sent my way, but they weren't directly racing me for a playoff spot. So if one guy that's not really in the mix gets around you or gets your quarter panel or whatever it might be, some guys were like, I won't contest this position too much. I'm not racing him directly. I expect that to be different when we go back. But I was really excited to see the improvement that we had made at Bristol from where we started, I guess, my cup journey there in the spring race with a car that balance-wise wasn't where it needed to be. About the time we got it fixed or driving better, we got collecting that pretty large pileup that we had in that first race. And then we kind of really, went for it in the All-Star race and missed the balance by a mile and had a terrible car. Fortunately, that really motivated us to bring a much better car for that playoff race last year. And we had some good speed, but the details would have mattered for sure. And we missed those. So 4th was all we could manage. So I'm excited sorry, it's long-winded, but I'm certainly excited that we're able to run 4th. And there were so many areas of the race that I could have been so much better in. I'm hopeful that being better and more rounded now means we can be a little bit better than 4th.
You've had success at Bristol in other divisions. How would you describe your current relationship with Bristol Motor Speedway?
I'd say it's good. I've it's been hit or miss at times, but even when you're struggling, it's a race that you're always racing somebody, I feel like there. And while it can be frustrating when you're maybe racing, outside the top 20, you're still battling all night with a group of drivers. You're battling all night with lap traffic, the field. And as a driver, you have a lot of decisions to make. You have a lot of planning that you have to make as well as you're running that race. As we saw in the fall race, drivers had started to pit and a caution came out and it really shook up the running order. And we played it right and got fortunate there. When we go back next Saturday, if something similar plays out, there will be more pressure on us to not make the wrong decision. But, again, it just comes back to running a race, doing what's best for us. But it's a fun track. It always has been. Having the options between the bottom with the compounds they've used for grip, and then having the ground concrete and the wall right there to lean on and carry a lot of speed and momentum. It's a really fun place, and it's all about rhythm and being able to get through lap traffic good. The fastest cars don't always win that race. It's the driver that can move around and make really good decisions.
Bristol's an elimination race. You've already had quite a wild ride during an elimination race this year just to get into the playoffs at Daytona. How much did that experience, do you feel like, will it help you if you're faced with a similar situation at, say, a Bristol cutoff race?
I'd say it was a nice little warm up, for sure. Bristol's a little bit more predictable in the sense that, somebody sitting 6th or 7th on the final restart. I guess they could end up winning, but it's not a situation where the car sitting, 4th or 5th in line on the bottom or the top, has a chance to win the race on the final lap like Daytona. And it's not the whole field you have to worry about winning. It's just a group of drivers. And at that, a group of drivers that are behind the cut line. So, 4 or 5 drivers that you really need to be worrying about in that situation that could go up and make that upset win. But generally, if the drivers have put themselves in that spot by race 3, unless they just kick out a completely clutch performance or it's one of our top guys just having 2 bad first races, I don't expect to really have to worry about someone winning the race that you're not expecting to. But the pressure of having to get a couple extra spots at a place like Bristol, I feel like is a nice, wouldn't be a bad spot to be in. But being down 20 and then having to try and win the race is challenging. But the nice thing is it's the type of race where, you don't have to do something, you're going to know if you're going to win that race when you're 20 out going into it or not by, halfway through it, if your car's good and you're executing a good race. So I think it will be less stressful.
Bristol's celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. They released top 10 night race moments. Do you have a favorite moment from the night race over the years?
I'd say for me, it was, I'd say the first run in that Dale and Terry Labonte had. The rattle his cage moment, the bump and pass for the win was an incredible one. So that one sticks with me pretty well. I have a lot of other fond memories, but some are from the daytime racing, if you will. Like Jeff Gordon getting around Rusty for the win. There's some other ones like Mark Martin, coming to pit road a lap too early. There's a lot of really great memories that have been made at Bristol. A lot of huge moments in racing have been at Bristol. So, but that's probably my favorite night race memory. And I'd say a lot of people share that, share that as their favorite too.
Last question for you. What do you view as your challenge, or what would be your path to win the championship? Like, what do you feel like is the thing that you've got to do over the next, 9 races to make that happen?
Be mistake free. We have the potential to, bring fast race cars to the track week in and week out. But on the nights and weekends that doesn't happen, it's important for myself to manage the expectations, manage the race as close to perfect as possible. So it's about what I guess that doesn't really spell out a direct path as you're asking, but you know, it kind of comes back to the same thing I guess I was saying earlier. You know, if you're gonna, fifth place car is all you got, do everything you can to not let the guy in 6th or 7th sneak ahead of you, finish 5th. You know, don't crash. If you're able to run a little bit better than 5th that night, take 3rd, take 4th. Every stage, every lap, the finish of the race, everything is really important, and all the details with pit road, with the restarts, you know, the choice of lane on the restarts, all those things. There's so many choices the driver and the team has to make for every single race, and it's hard to get it right every time. But the more that we prep and the more we do it right, the more comfortable and confident we become in our process.
Cool. All right, sir. Well, thank you. If you'll hang on.